So today we're going to take a look at these cordless hot glue guns here. Let's first take a look at the specs real quick, then we'll go into testing, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Dremel, model HSGP-01. Ryobi, P306. Ryobi, P305. Ryobi, P307. Bauer, model 21505C-B. Hart, HPGL01. Worksite, WCD334. So we're going to go ahead and look at charge time. I've fully drained all of these. So let me go ahead and plug them in and we'll see what happens. So as we look at the charge time, you can definitely see the Worksite and the Dremel were the worst. And then the Bauer, Ryobi, and Hart were all around that 1 hour mark. Just remember the Bauer has a 1.5 amp hour battery, not a 2 amp hour battery. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to get a ballpark reading on how fast they come up to temp. Now, some have indicators of when they're ready, others do not, so that might make it a little tricky there. And then we're also going to look at how hot the glue is and how fast, of course, we can get the glue to come out of the gun. Now, to keep everything consistent for both the mini and the regular size, I'm going to be using Gorilla glue sticks, not the ones provided with the guns. Okay, so we do have the glue pen here. Now again, it does use minis. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. You got to hold it to turn it on. So it's supposedly going to be ready in 15 seconds. I'm also going to go ahead and just weigh it at the same time here. So we'll go ahead and start. The Ryobi, this one also takes the mini glue sticks. Now this is definitely something that's a little bit different here. You basically got a power stand here, which is connected to your battery, and then the gun here, which sits right there on the top. So basically, once you turn it on here, you can see we are sync there. So if we take the gun off, that light goes away. Put the gun back on, that sync light comes back on. Of course, all we're doing is heating up an element in here, and once you take it off, that's it. You know, it's going to start cooling down. So we'll see how it does. The indicator does not go out when it's up to temp there on the side. Supposed to give this anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. One thing to also note while we wait, this does have a nice drip platform here. When you're done working on your project there, you set the gun back in to heat back up or to store. You know, your glue is going to drip on here instead of whatever you're working on. Glue is definitely a lot hotter. P305, so the first cordless hot glue gun for Ryobi. We do have an indicator up here and a switch, but again, we don't have anything to tell us when it's up to temp. So we'll switch it on. P307 here, a little bit different story. This is the latest generation. This does have an indicator here, which is red while temp is coming up and then does turn green. Also, we do have 2 different temp settings and a flip down drip tray here. So of course, when we're working, if there is anything dripping off of it, it'll sit here instead of whatever surface, of course, you've got this set on. So I'm going to first set it on the low setting here. We'll see how fast it gets up to temp. Now she's cooled down. We're going to go to the upper end here. Worksite one here. This one does not have an indicator, only then when it's on. So now we have the Hart, just has an indicator of when it's on. What's interesting is the instructions look almost identical to the Ryobi ones. So now with the Bauer, a little bit different story here. Power button's on top. We click it, and then it is going to turn green when it's ready to go. So as we look at how fast the glue guns came up to temp, just remember the ones that are labeled 4 minutes here, that's a window we had to wait. There was no clear indicator of when they're ready. But the Bauer P307 and the Dremel do have indicators. So those are representative of how fast it actually took to get up to temp. Now when we look at how fast it took to dispense 1 stick of glue, remember in green these are the guns using the mini glue sticks, and in blue the regular. And you can see they are all pretty close, with the Worksite taking the longest and then the Ryobi P307 on high being the fastest for the regular sticks. Then when we look at max temp of the glue, so I tested the temperature actually of the glue coming out. You can see here they all are relatively close, with again the Ryobi P307 on high performing the best temp wise. All right, so from the data you guys seen, to me there's truly no defined winner that stands above the rest, but there are a couple things to point out. Now again, if you're looking for a mini, of course we have the Dremel pen here and then the Ryobi P306. Now what I will say is I don't like the charge time on this of about 4 hours. If you're looking for something to use in the house with a lower temperature, this is going to be the lowest temp, and it does come online in about 12 seconds, which is quite impressive. If you're looking for something like that, then of course you would go with this. Other than that, one thing to note, there is not a check valve in here. It will drip, so just be aware it's going to drip. But the P306 here is also a good unit, I think, for in the house. I think it makes it nice and easy if you want this style gun grip instead of that pen. And you set it back on here to heat back up. You know, it's got a spot to drip here on this pad. A little more temp, and you know, I can grab another battery if needed. I would say my pick on the minis is going to be the P306 here. With the minis out of the way, things get a little more difficult. I'm going to take this one off right off the top here. Charge time horrible at about 4 hours there. I had trouble getting the charger to want to even charge the battery. I don't know what the deal was there, but I don't like that. And I also don't like this trigger here. Now you'll say, well, you can get a full hand grip on there on that trigger, get more pressure. Yes, but this trigger is really loose to me. So it's all over the place. It's not very comfortable as you're using it because it's moving all over the place. And if you want to get a bigger battery, I don't believe they provide bigger batteries. So you're stuck at this 2 amp battery. You're stuck with that slow charger. Yeah, I don't think this is a good solution. Yes, you can get it probably on sale for 40 bucks, MSRP of 50, but to me, I would say avoid this. So then we're down to 4. Right off the bat, I'm going to say we're going to take the P305 out of the equation. Yes, it is a good gun, but for me, I don't think this is one I would pick considering the rest. Now, if you're running Hart, I know some of you guys probably are, it's a good gun. I like the gun. The indicator on top of if it's powered up is nice, and the grip and trigger feel pretty good. Charge time was pretty good as well, and you can get a faster charger. Also, you can upgrade to bigger batteries. The gun itself is kind of pricey. You can't get it in a kit. You're looking at 40 bucks just for the gun itself. Now we're down to 2. Now the biggest thing that's going to split these for me is if you're going to be doing a ton of template work. If you're doing template work, you know, on a daily, monthly basis, I think you got to go with the P307. One, it's dual temp. So if you don't need the real high temp, you don't have to go all the way up. You know, you got this low temp, which is still pretty good, as you guys seen on the chart there. Also, you got this flip out drip tray, which is handy there as well. This one also came with 2 other tips. So you've got a longer tip you can put on there, as well as a flat tip, which can be installed. And again, you can easily get a bigger battery for the Ryobi and a faster charger if needed. If you're doing template work or if you're using a gun a lot, I'm going to tell you go with the P307. Now, if you're looking at a budget gun, I'm going to tell you go with the Bauer. Now, yes, the temperature is not as high as the rest, but it's a little bit slimmer form factor. The tool itself is only $20, and if you do a combo deal there, you know, you can get the charger, a 1.5 amp hour battery, all together for, I think it was around 48 bucks. So definitely the cheapest combo setup you're gonna find. Also, you have that indicator, you know, when it's on and turns green when it's ready. It had a pretty quick ready time. And you have a little LED down here to provide some light. I do also like the grip as well. That being said, John's pick for the Mini P306. For a budget regular size is going to be the Bauer. And then if you're doing a lot of work, templates, constant use, I'm going to say spend the extra $10 between the P305 and the P307 and get the P307. Other than that, battery wise, we're going to test some batteries in another video. So I can't really say runtime wise. If we were to do runtime, it would be a ton of glue sticks, but at least this video here gives you guys kind of a ballpark if you're looking at these on what to consider. With that being said, hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you on another one.